Well, let's just get right into Hampton, October 20th, 2013 for Stash Fan, longtime fan of the channel, new member of the channel, getting this request in. I think we got a little dinner and a movie action here, and sadly, this was a time, back in the day when I had checked out on Phish. This was probably also around the time where there was some buzz brewing, and I was back in, 10, 11, and 13. I just wasn't there for a lot of it live. And look, for as great of a show as this was not, I'm always talking about, for most people, you're probably like, what are you talking about? Julius is a great opener. I just don't like those two songs, really. And, the rest of the night, there was really basically not a song that I don't like. Similar to the show I did the other night from '09, an average show, probably made more good because I really liked the song. I think they played like 20 songs that night, like 17 of them. I just like, yeah, I would listen to these just for funsies at times, Julius and Funky Bitch, man, I ain't never listened to those for funsies. All right, so back on the train, certainly I would. Got a little Jean-Pierre tease in there. Trey, I felt like we got a little bit more of that in 46 Days. That is one of Trey's favorites. And, if you don't know that song well, if you're like me, I had to really listen to it over and over again. There's a good version on YouTube. Just listen to the first minute or two over and over again a couple of days in a row. And then when Phish is back at the Sphere, you'll hear it, man. Trey will do it. Then we get a Roses Are Free. And then right here at the end of Roses Are Free, kind of like what we might get in a first set now. Like they're playing Roses, and then we get a little bit of a jam there where they drift off and play around with it. And while Trey was kind of kicking ass throughout here, sampling a jar, I feel like that's when Trey's really feeling himself, all over, even down low. We get a sample in a jar, just giving him a chance to show off there. Ginseng Sullivan, one we don't get a lot. The 46 Days, that's where I felt like maybe there we got a little more Trey. Miles Davis, and then a Divided Sky. The Paul, I could have slammed a green tea and had a Cliff Bar during this Divided Sky. And the beginning section is usually what's going to make or break me. There's always going to be the cool part in Divided Sky, but that kind of complex beginning there, if it's not good, I'm kind of out. I'm like, that's it. Come on, guys. It's your song. I wouldn't say they nailed this one, but it was very good, especially for a 2013 and then a Bold as Love cover that we don't get as much as I wish we would. Kind of forget that that's a cover, if I said those are two of their songs I don't like. All right, Paul and Silas, got a little fan shout out. We had some fans dressed like Waldo. Trey suggested maybe they were Jailhouse Boys, and turns out they were in fact Waldo, but we still got our Paul and Silas. So a little fun there, and then, oh my God, basically just do that afterwards. I mean, the Tweezer had points where not a lot of this in early 3.0 were all, normally it was just like Trey's going off or Paige. It was like each guy individually could do some shit. But this one, man, all four guys just hitting it together early on in the Tweezer. And then Paige and Mike kind of get together for this like the little futuristic, like kind of sci-fi sound. And then, it's kind of ended with like a what's the use deal. And then after the Paige and Mike kind of thing, it got a little, they tried to get dark and heavy a little bit, the three of them. And then Paige is over here. We got Pretty Paige along with some dark and heavy rest of the band. It worked out nicely, though. Then we get into Golden Age, first half of Golden Age, just really funky Golden Age. Fishman on the Lumina at points in Golden Age. I'd say the last few minutes, though, as we led into the Piper, maybe like, all right, if there was any part that was like that wasn't the best, it was probably, why am I complaining, never mind. Then we got into a Piper, which doesn't take them long, 2.5 minutes in, they're smoking this one, and then we start hearing a little Taking Care of Business, and the Taking Care of Business wasn't great. It felt, but the transition into it was absolutely great. They I don't know if they've ever played it again. It was the first time they ever played it, and then we get back to business, and this is the point. They could have played like Waste, Possum, Susie Greenberg here, Sand, Slave. 2001 is what we got instead. That came out a little weird. You know what I mean? It's not like I was going to go through another trio of bad songs or songs I wouldn't want to hear here. So this final third of the show can kind of make or break it. And then again, while it was different than this, the 2001, it didn't go too crazy. Sand, man, it was like Trey and Paige were so locked in at one point on the Sand. It was like, who's leading this sucker, man? It was awesome. Then we get into Slave to the Traffic Light, just saying goodbye, putting a cap on just an absolutely wonderful night. Although we still got an encore. I wouldn't even care if there was no encore. We were owed a Tweezer reprise, though, and we got A Day in a Life in there. Another good cover. So we got some good covers tonight. Forget about Funky Bitch. Golden Age. Oh, that's another one. You almost forget that that's a cover, That's the only thing they had in common on this night. All right, guys. Paul and Silas, huh? Well, thanks to those guys. You know, there's some bros up front during this Tweezer. Woo, there's video. Yeah, there's video, man. You can check it out. All right, guys. Boom, we were out of here. Stash fan, good recommendation. It's probably like the third time. I was going to say this is the third time I was not recapping, but then I believe they did a dinner and a movie. All right, boom, we're out of here. These videos get so long because of all that nonsense. Look at that. Okay, the other night I thought it was an okay to good show. This was awesome. Boom.